Hope everybody's enjoying the cooler weather. Look twice for motorcycles. It's motorcycle weather for sure. The thing that came up in the practice today I wanted to touch base with you about is being judicious, being cautious, being careful about the overuse in any situation of law enforcement resources. And by that I mean, if you're involved in a estate matter and people are fighting over grandpa's money, or a child custody matter and people are concerned about the welfare of kids, making multiple calls to APS, to CPS, to have welfare checks done on people's residences where they're spending time with their loved ones, with their children, with their parents. These are they're not always going to be perceived in the eyes of the people who determine the outcomes of these fights, the judges. They're not always going to be looked at in the greatest light, especially if there's more than one or two of these calls. If there's a dozen, it's going to start looking like the little boy who cried wolf. And not only will the law enforcement responders, even though they have a duty to respond, their guard will be down, because there's going to have been a scenario where their resources were directed at something that turned out to be unmeritorious or less than meritorious, or certainly not an emergency situation. And so they initiate these cases and then they quickly close them. So just be careful if you're going to use these law enforcement resources, and don't use them in an inappropriate way for gain in a legal matter. And also be careful about using them too much, because it can detract from the good faith and the merits of your case. So it's always wear that white hat. Anyway, everybody enjoy this cooler weather. Look twice for bikes. I'm getting on mine in a minute.